Hey everyone, coming to you here from New York City, celebrating Wellness Month. We've done something special every week. I wrote a blog on kind of emotional and mental health. We've done a Zumba and a stretch class. We did how to make healthy but delicious kale chips. And we are finishing it off with a brief discussion on body products. And many of you know that we do make kind of our side thing is we make natural body products by hand. And we do that as a direct result of me needing products that did not have chemicals in them and just not really being able to either decipher or trust the labeling as it exists today. And I do have a long background in the beauty business, so I was somewhat familiar with just how the whole labeling and regulatory issues work, and how ingredients work. So I started making my own products just to get my own health kind of back on track. And there were some key learnings that I discovered as I was in that process that I just want to share with you. Because as much as we try to manage our diets and eat healthy, the same thing is true with the products that we put in our bodies and that, or the ingredients that get there via entry through our skin. So the products will, on the front of the labels, highlight things like shea butter or cocoa butter or lemongrass. And you'll think, oh, this sounds wonderful. Those ingredients sound great. That's what I want. So I'm just going to give you an example, right? So these are my lotions. I use them. And the industry has taken out a lot of they call them the nasties, the nasty ingredients like the formaldehyde and the parabens and the aluminum. So when those come out, new stuff has to come in. And the fact of the matter is there's been no testing on the new stuff of note. So really what we're doing is just kind of taking a leap of faith and hoping that these new chemicals are not as bad as the old chemicals. Because when you make natural products, if you think about anything in nature, you think about food, natural ingredients do not cooperate. They are not shelf stable. They change color, they oxidize, they rot, they smell, they separate. So in order to have something that can sit on a shelf for any reasonable amount of time, they need to put chemicals in to create that stability. So my frustration was under no circumstance did I want the chemicals. So we decided that if we would do it, we would work our way around it. So this is how you read a label, right? So this is my body cream, which I love. I love the smell of it. And it will say, no parabens, no phthalates, no animal testing, and that the ingredients are vegetarian. Fine, sounds great. That's all marketing. You turn it over and you read the back label. If the first ingredient is water, which it typically is, because it's very expensive to fill a tube like this full with all real natural ingredients, because they're unstable and because they're expensive. So they put the water in to dilute it. And if there's water in it, then you can bet somewhere in this list, there is some sort of a chemical preservative. Because if you think about moisture and you think about water, mildew and mold will grow if there's water in it. That's the basic number one rule of thumb. So you just flip it over, look for water. It's going to almost always be the first ingredients. And if there's water in it, then there's two questions. What's the preservative that's preventing mold and mildew from growing in there, especially in a plastic tube, which is porous? So it does happen. And if not, because some companies will still claim that they're all natural, then the question is, and I email the companies and I say, okay, so if your water is your first ingredient, what is in there that is preventing microbial growth? That's it. And normally I get an answer and it's a preservative. So that's one thing. It's that simple. If there's water, there's something in there to prevent the growth. And then it is up to you to decide how comfortable you are using those preservatives. Do some research, Google it, see their safety sheets on many of these ingredients and just see. Again, it'll take 20 years for us to know what this generation of chemicals does. But, everything in moderation. Your body can handle a certain amount of things. It's when it gets to be in excess. So the same thing, I have a lighter weight body lotion here. It's, made with plants. Just because it says made with plants doesn't mean it's all natural. Or not processed. A lot of the times I think about this the same way you think about food. Processing food is in a laboratory, it's in a factory, it has to be sterile, it has to be shelf stable. And in that case, a lot of the same ingredients that they use in food processing, they use in cosmetic processing. Yeah, and again, you'll get a long list of ingredients. Yeah, and they're not all natural. There are some chemical ingredients in here. Okay, so I just want to show you an example, right? So I made a shampoo for myself a long time ago. I used it all, and I was just curious. I kept it in the bathroom. This is my shampoo. I used the whole thing, and I just wanted to see. I did not put water in the ingredients, right? And if you can see, there's no mold and no mildew in there. And even though it sat in the bathroom, so there was, I guess, to some degree, some moisture, but that's the key, right? There's no water. So if you don't use water, you're pretty okay. And if you do, you have to take precautions. So that to me is kind of like the very first rudimentary step in cleaning up your body products and just understanding what they put in the body products and then making choices. Again, you look for companies, if they're known for just kind of like, we call it fluff, putting a bunch of words to things. The bigger the company, the more of a risk you have because they're mass producing. So their stuff does need to be stable. If you buy small batch, you have a better chance of, someone actually, like food, someone actually making the food and giving it to you. But that's my 2 cents. That's, I think, again, where you start is just look for the water. And if you can find products that don't have water, they're going to be butters, balms, and oils, right? Now, oils will go rancid, but they won't grow mold or mildew or fungus. And then they're more expensive because they're not diluted, right? And chemicals are trustworthy. You can count on them to behave a certain way, which you cannot say that about natural ingredients. And they're cheaper, and like I said, they're controllable. So to get a really good natural product that is not diluted with water and doesn't use chemicals, you look for butter, balms, and oils. And I hope that helps. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.